Hey guys, Chris de Boel from Esper Lux. We are back live from Geneva Watch Days. We are here with Martin Frei from URWERK at the URWERK headquarters in Old Town. Martin, thanks for joining us. Good to see you again.
Thanks for being here. Thanks for having me.
It's always a pleasure. It's always a pleasure chatting and catching up with you. Year 25 for URWERK. Although you and I were talking about this the other day and you said it's maybe a little bit longer than that.
It's a long time. That's right.
And so exciting stuff over 25 years with the evolution of the brand. What do you think has been the most glaring evolution of the brand over these 25 years? You know, when you look back at, you know, the initial years in the late 90s to where you guys are today, you know, do you look at certain milestones, certain stepping stones, or do you just say, you know, this is how we were then and this is how we are now, and it's
I call it actually an evolutionary process from milestone to milestone, so to say. But of course there are moments that are very important, maybe not even a watch, you know, but maybe at the moment we had to somehow, because of the case shape and so it was too complex to machine it by hand. We had to somehow start with CNC machines. A moment like this is very important because it somehow forced us, or it also enabled us to do different things. So there's always like things you want to do. You see when you have finished something, you see, you know, what else could be possible. And then you start imagining. And that, you know, demands different technical solutions, but it can also be, as I said, the other way around. So it's an evolutionary process, and that research or that experiment allows us to, you know, to search and find.
Yeah, you know, it's one of the things that's truly remarkable for me about URWERK is my 103, for example. I mean, this is a 20-year-old plus watch. Mm-hmm. So you know, to think about, you know, coming out with this singular, you know, contemporary design back then, and to see how well it's aged, you know, over the years to
that's
where we are
good to
today.
see, to be honest.
It's pretty impressive. It's really impressive.
I like that too, of course, because that's what you hope, that you can, with your creation, that you can somehow capture the moment. I think if you attempt to create something timeless, it's a dream if that happens. But I think it works if you can capture, you know, what's at the moment important, what's at the moment. If you can express that, maybe then you can make a comment to the time. And if it's happening, if it happens, if it worked out, even better. And for me, I sense it myself, of course, when there is like a part, maybe if it's just a part of a watch, or just something, a detail that somehow aged. You know, it hurts. So if that doesn't happen, and with the 103, especially with this one, it didn't happen, and I'm glad. So yeah, that's what one tries to achieve. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, this is cool. It's such a. It's hard to believe. It really is. You know, I've had so many conversations with different people about, you know, just first of all, there was nothing else like it then. There's still nothing else like it today. So that's very impressive to do, especially in you know, we call it a copycat industry, right? Where you're always looking and say, oh, this reminds me of that, or this reminds me of that. No. There is nothing with URWERK that reminds you of anything else.
If something is too unique, you can't actually really copy it that easily, because then it's too obvious. Yeah. So, and in general, I mean, I think if you because we are inspired, if you do create things, then there's no mistake in being inspired by what others did before you. And basically, that's the game. You have to somehow look back in time, and you get inspired by the history of the. Like here in this discipline is the watchmaking history, science, and you know, you're supposed to look at what happened before. That what you do is kind of part of that trip, and so I think it's absolutely fair to be inspired by, let's say, a Gérard Jonta. It's just, you can't avoid it. You know, yeah. It's there. A guy like this, other inventions, other creators.
Great design language is infectious, right?
Yeah. So you're supposed to be inspired by it. You're supposed to know it. You're supposed to look at what happened up to now. But then again, you have to somehow add your thing to it, you know. Yeah. And I think if you look at something that was made before, in that very moment you look at it, you create already that new thing. We actually can't, I would say we can't create something that existed again. It's just not possible. As soon as we do it, we create something new. But then one has to do it knowing the laws. That's important. And then you can add your part to it in this history of
very interesting way to look at it. Yeah. And speaking of new creations, this year, or at least at Geneva Watch Days, URWERK is introducing the UR-100 Ultraviolet. Tell us a little bit more about the Ultraviolet.
So what I found fascinating is that with the colors, we human beings, we have a spectrum of colors that we can actually see. Starting with infrared, a palette of colors, you know, that our sensors detect, and we named it, you know, we have our different names for colors. And then, you know, we reach to the very end of that scale and we have ultraviolet. That's again a color that is somehow, that's actually not visible. You know, it's like at the very edge of what we can see. So you actually see, when you say ultraviolet, you see more the effects of it, but you don't actually see the thing because it's already not anymore detectable for us. So if you have that last color, or even the first one, let's say, in the spectrum, and you try to imagine, you know, how that color looks, you have something at the border to the unknown to explore. And that's it. You just want to widen that horizon. And the ultraviolet is that violet color that is at the edge, that is kind of a bit of a mystic because you already feel that there you go to the next spectrum. You have actually afterwards at some point at the X-ray. We had at some point done a watch, you know, that was called at the X-ray.
The EMC.
Yeah, so we are interested in what you can't see, you know, what you have to imagine, you know, what's new, what's different.
And the unknown has certainly been a topic of conversation, or at least a topic of philosophy and design and watchmaking that URWERK has explored.
You know, go further. That's
sure. How are you enjoying Geneva Watches? This is the third year going into Geneva Watch Days. It's a little bit different, and the weather's a little warmer. We're feeling it a little bit today.
That's right. Which is a good thing.
We look comfortable, but we're sweating.
Better than the winter, you know. Sometimes you know, you had events like this in the winter, and then you complain about that. But yeah, no, I'm enjoying it. It's great. We had with the pandemics, of course, we had times where we couldn't see each other and people in person and you couldn't show the watches, and that's of course super enjoyable to again, you know, be with people and do our thing. Yeah, absolutely.
It is very much, especially on the independent side of things. It is, a lot of it is about the people.
Absolutely, exactly.
Martin, thank you so much for joining us.
You're welcome.
Really appreciate it. Thanks for having me here.
Sure.
It's always a pleasure stopping by in Old Town at URWERK.
Anytime.
Great to see you.
Okay.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Thanks for joining us, guys. Stay tuned for the next video.